in the studio. So our guest this morning is Mrs. Helen, and we are discussing the topic understanding types and stages of breast cancer. Understanding types and stages of breast cancer. Good morning.
Good morning.
How
good
are
morning.
you doing, please?
How are you?
We are doing well. It's good to see you. JK, I see what you did this morning. You know, for a moment, I was lost, though.
Yeah.
I just remembered that. Anyway.
Oh, no, you listen, you guys are saying it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month and the ladies and everything. I'm repping the guys because we're told that guys too are open and they're at the high risk of also getting breast cancer. So, Charlie, I had to also rock my thing to celebrate.
Real men wear pink.
Oh, my. That's the whole thing.
Period.
That's it. That's
It's interesting. I thought I was going to get pinks, right? So that I'll be working this month, but it's just quite unfortunate. All the things that I have are out in pinks.
Yeah.
So I have to find pinks that can be set pinks.
Yeah.
So that means I'll be working. I can't be left alone like this. Right? I feel like I should step out.
She has to give us one of the t-shirts, one of the days.
Yeah,
and
that
we'll
would
also
be
rock it.
a bad idea,
I'll try
right?
that. I'll try that. Probably next week too.
Sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so this one we're discussing types of breast cancer.
Yeah.
Anything we should know before we delve into the conversation?
Okay, so it's the breast cancer month, and I would want us to know just a few things before we really delve into the whole conversation.
Okay.
Now, so the human breast, as it is, looks like a ball, like we can see. Yeah, but it has various parts in there. So the whole breast has the mass. We have the chest wall, the breast wall. Then there are ducts and lobules in there. So I'm saying this as the beginning or the basis for our conversation, because they'll pop up once or twice before we end the conversation. So we have to understand them. Now, so the lobules they are like sacs, tiny sacs inside the breast that store milk.
Okay.
And then the ducts are like the tubes that bring the breast milk to the nipple area. Okay. You understand? So most of the cancers are usually start either in the ducts or in the lobules.
Lobules, okay.
You understand? Okay. And then we have what we call the lymph nodes. So everybody has a lymph node. Everybody has a lymph node. Okay. Now the lymph node, I grew in a village. So when you get wounded or you have a sore at any part of your body, you realize that some growth appears either under your chin, in your armpits, or in your groin area. They are painful. I don't know if anybody has experienced
that. I've seen it. It's quite tiny. Sometimes even down your tongue, you can have that feeling.
Yes. Yeah. So they are called lymph nodes. Now those ones are your body's way of trying to ward off any form of infection.
Oh, okay.
So even if it's not breast cancer, and by chance you don't have a wound anywhere, physical wound anywhere, I realize that there are lymph nodes appearing at any part of your body. It's a sign from your body telling you, guy, you're sick, see a doctor.
Not to cut you in, is it the same thing as the blisters we get?
No, so the blisters are, we call them cold sores.
Okay.
It has its own medical term, but we call them cold. They are different.
Okay.
This one appears usually in the armpit area, just beneath your chin, and then in your groin area. The guys call it modu. I don't know how the other languages call it. Yes. So it's just your body's way of informing you that there's an infection, there's a systemic infection, and there's the need for you to see a doctor for care.
Okay, interesting. So with that growth we're talking about that appears in the would you need an antibiotics or something, or isn't necessarily you need to go see a doctor?
So antibiotics, we have educated everyone to see a doctor before you take one.
Okay.
Because every antibiotic has its mode of action, I should say. So you would have to see a doctor. Let's run tests. Let's know what kind of infection your body is trying to fight. Then we treat it. Okay. It could even be by chance that the lymph nodes themselves are infected.
Oh.
So there'll be a need to take them off at a point. You understand?
Okay.
So just taking the antibiotics will not rule it out. But then it may hide it, but along the line one day it will pop up again.
Okay.
That's quite interesting. So I think we should just quickly move straight into. So when we talk about types of breast cancers, how many do we have?
There are several types of breast cancers, you know, several. But we'll talk about the most common ones. So the most common ones are usually 3. They are the most common ones that usually report to the health facilities almost worldwide. So we have I've explained the lobe and then the duct. So last week we spoke about the fact that where the cancer grows, it's named after it. So we have the one that grows in the lobules. So we call them the lobular carcinoma. So the carcinoma is just cancer. And then we have the ductal carcinoma. And then we have the invasive one, so the invasive lobular carcinoma. So those ones, if you say it's invasive, it means that it travels to other parts of the breast. And then there is one that is in situ. It means that it stays only in the breast tissue and doesn't move. So we have the ductal breast cancer, as on the screen. We have the lobular breast cancer, and then mixed tumor breast cancer, and then the mucinous breast cancer. But the most common ones are the ductal breast cancer, the lobular breast cancer, and the ductal, the invasive ductal breast cancer.
Quite
so
interesting.
The ductal one is the one that appears in the ducts leading to, so the ducts are like tubes that carry the milk from the lobules. The lobules are the tiny balls in there. The balls kind of produce the milk and they fill up in there in the breast. So and then the ducts carries the milk out of the breast to the nipple area. So that is basically how the breast is. The whole breast is. So these are the most common ones
we find
that people report.
The ductal is the very serious one, right?
So when it becomes invasive,
that's how it looks like.
No, so they're just trying to show how the ducts look like. But when it becomes invasive, then it is traveling. Then it's actually.
And which one is the non-invasive?
So it can be non-invasive in both cases. And can be invasive as well.
All this one, I thought it was invasive and non-invasive. Not knowing that.
There are non-invasive
ones, but I didn't know there were the ductals and the lubulus. Hey, this science. Wow. The whole demonstration thing has changed the whole scenario. Like I was saying, the ductal especially, it looks quite serious from the picture.
Okay, so
I know it's like sort of an illustration, right? But it looks as if it's like cancer. Some of the pictures you see, and it looks like you are at the end stage. So that's the kind of way that it is giving me. And even the lubula, that one, I think that one even looks more serious. Yeah.
So the lobules themselves look kind of funny at times. So when cancer comes in there, then it looks
more funny.
So it changes, like the balls are going to change.
The cancer cells tend to change the whole DNA, the whole basic life support of the breast. So it changes everything and misfires information to the breast. So the breast cells then tend to change with speed, not as God has created it to be, but changes with speed. Then it becomes cancerous.
So the differences between these types has to do with where it forms, or there are more differences to it than just that.
So because it starts in the lobules, it's described as that one that started in the lobule, and then if it's in the ducts, then it is described as one in the ducts. There are other ones that there's one example that appears like a common rash around the breast, but it's also a type of breast, but it's rare. It's not common, so we don't usually talk about them. The most common ones are the ones we just
saw on the screens. Now probably someone might have missed out on last week's episode and maybe tuning in this morning. It looks and sounds really fresh to them. Now I just want us to touch again on the symptoms of cancer, when it's developing and when it's coming. What are the petty things we see, or the changes on the breast? Okay, so we spoke about the fact that you don't only concentrate on the lump you hear on TV. So aside the lump, there are changes in the size of the breast. You realize that my usual breast looks like this, but all of a sudden either one has changed or deformed, or one looks bigger than the other one, or the shape has changed, or color discoloration. So you realize that some parts of it looks darkened,
or reddish, depending on the skin of your skin tone. Yes. And then in some part there are discharges. Some may have foul smell or blood stained. So you're not breastfeeding, you don't have any issues with your breast that the doctor has told you about, but all of a sudden you realize that the breast is discharging. That is also a change, one of the signs you should look out for. Or you realize that there's sore around the nipple is flaky, the skin around the breast is flaky, is breaking, or there's sore around there. There's the need for you to see the doctor. Those are some of the few signs you should look out for. Or you realize that the skin of the breast has changed to that of an orange peel, or the breast is pitting in. They are also new signs that you should look out for.
Okay.
And then when you visit a healthcare professional, like when I come to your office and I have breast cancer, what is the typical diagnosis?
So first of all, we'll have to look at what stage you are now. You understand? So the stage of the breast cancer will decide or tell us where we should start the treatment from. So we don't just, it's not like you have common cold so you get it, but we have several stages of the breast cancer. On book is 5 stages, but we count it from 0 to 4, making it 5. So stage 0, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, then stage 4, making it 5. So at stage 0, then it's either in the duct or in the lobes and hasn't transferred or hasn't invaded nearby breast tissues. Then it's 0 at that point. So if the person is lucky to have walked into the facility at that time, these are the changes one should look out for, the symptoms here. But if you are just at that stage of the lobular or the ductal changes, then we have treatment for that stage as well. And then when it comes to stage 1, so you move from stage 0 to stage 2, so it's become invasive at this point. At this point, it has traveled from either the lobule or the duct into the breast tissue, into surrounding breast tissues. So now that treatment is also, the doctor can start the treatment from there as well. Then from there, we've moved to stage 2, where the tumor size has changed from maybe 2 to 5 centimeters. And then it is attacking your lymph nodes, the lymph nodes you spoke about. It's attacking it. You realize that either there's growth in the armpit area, underarm area, under the chin, or in the groin area. So it is just your body trying to ward off, or trying to fight, or trying to prompt you that there's an infection ongoing in your system at that point. So at that stage, in some people, they will have it growing from maybe 2 to 5 centimeters and attacking just a few lymph nodes, or it's larger but hasn't attacked any lymph node. Then we go to the stage 3, where it is larger and attacking several other lymph nodes and becomes painful. So at that stage, you call it an inflammatory stage, because inflammation has set in. There's redness, there is pain, it becomes tender to touch and all that. Then at stage 4, it has actually gone to other vital body parts. Then at that point, it is actually attacking either your liver, your bone, your kidney, and other parts of your body. So every stage determines what treatment you need, and then your prognosis. That is, after treatment, what happens? Is the person going to survive this after the treatment? Yes. So like we said last week, the earlier we detect it, the better your prognosis. Yes.
Okay. So what was that? What does the prognosis stand for?
So it stands for after treatment, how long you can live, or how best your life will be after treatment. Yes. So that is 5 years after we have confirmed you that you have breast cancer. 5 years after that, are you going to live well? Are you going to be alive? What is going to happen after that? Yes, that's prognosis.
Okay, even within that time period, talking about after 5 years and all that, the person is done with treatment, he's taking all the medication he's supposed to do. Going off the medication, do you still have to be on anything, or maybe there's some kind of food you're supposed to be eating? You know, those processes. We just want to have a fair idea of that too.
So the doctor determines when you get off your medications. It's not like take it 7 days, then you're done. The doctor takes you through a series of tests and then proves that, okay, you can stay off your medications for now. But now you go for periodic checks, so that if cancer is funny, today we have taken it out of the breast, but tomorrow it may be at some part of your body. So periodically you go for checks and tests to be sure that it's not invading any other places. Then we advise that you live healthy, so that all the predisposing factors that brought the cancer initially, we tell you to live well and don't cross over. So you have a lean, a healthy diet, you rest, you drink a lot of water, and you don't do alcohol, you maintain a healthy diet, and then you don't take in a lot of hormones in there or medications to change your body system.
You know, we've spoken about this thing and it's quite alarming. We have someone watching and might be scared of, you know, getting support and treat. How do I even put it? You know, finance to do all these things. Let's just be blunt about it. Does it really cost?
Yes. In our part of the country or in the world, our part of the world is expensive, and there's little or no support. We've had a few NGOs out there supporting people, but the support is less, and there are a lot of people suffering it out there. People are scared to come out because of the myth, a lot of myths around the whole condition. So people are hiding with it, and then by the time they are rushing to the facility, it's worse. It's gone to other body parts. Then there's nothing we can actually do. We only have to give palliative care or manage till the person's eventual death, if that is what the end will be. So we call out that come out just the moment you realize there are changes in the breast, so that whichever help, whichever way we can solicit. Our Ghanaian society supports people.
Definitely.
We have churches, we have friends, we have family members around us who can help in their little ways, and then I'm sure we'll save a lot of lives with that, even before the NGOs or the government steps in for breast cancer survival.
Now, earlier during your submissions, you mentioned that sometimes as a result of the breast cancer, you can get it also developing in other areas, if my memory serves me right, like the kidney and then what have you. How serious is that?
So when the cancer cells attacks other body organs, it becomes more severe, because then we are not only treating your breasts, but we are treating that other one. So if it's chemo you're going to use, you're going to be exposed more. You're going to expose your kidneys, you're going to care for your kidneys, and those other parts that might have attacked, then the breast itself. And it becomes more expensive at that point, because the target organ is not just one anymore. It becomes several other target organs. And the individual himself becomes sick flat, because for instance, if it's your kidney, then the kidney is suffering, then your breast is also suffering. Your whole body becomes stressed out of that. Yes.
Okay, so just for clarity's sake, so in this case, does it mean, or can we say that while you're treating breast cancer, it is possible that you check your entire body to know whether it is also developing in other areas? So once it's breast cancer, it's breast cancer.
So there is no healthcare giver who is managing a breast cancer patient and then will not be looking out for it invading or going to other parts of the body. Because it's funny, just when you think it's just around here, centered around here, it's going to other parts. So they do not concentrate only on the breast. They look out for the possibility that the cancer cells might be spreading. So during the time when you visit the facility for care, we take several lab tests. So there are ones that, for example, the biopsy, you take a sample of the breast tissue, take it to the lab, and then we screen it to check the possibility of the fact that this can spread to other parts of the human body. So if this is found, or there are other precursors in there that gives the notion that this can spread to other parts, then we start either preventing it, or if it's already there, we start managing it so that it doesn't go further.
Okay. What is triple negative breast cancer, and how does it differ from the other ones?
Okay, so it's a less common one. That's why we don't really want to delve into that. So it attacks not just one or two places, but 3 other parts of the breast.
Wow.
Yes, and it happens in just a few people, but it's different from the other one. So the ductal one is just in the duct, the lobular one is just, but this one is other parts in addition to those two other places.
Wow. Well, this is very wild. So with that cases, it's not really as
Like
high as
all
compared
at
to the
once.
other. The others, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the cases you've had with what with the type
The
we just
triple
mentioned,
negative.
the triple negative, meaning it's not really on the rise.
Yeah, it's
No,
rare.
it's not common, it's rare, yes.
Okay.
So if you have about, let's say 50, you get maybe 1%.
1%.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's touch on age as well. It's very necessary. We know people come in different age, and looking at this whole breast cancer thing, would you say age could also determine the kind of cancer, you know, this whole thing?
So we said last week that before now, breast cancer was seen in people 40 and above.
40, yeah.
But unfortunately, in our time, people 20 and up are showing it. There are few cases where it has come 15, 18, before the 20s. So breast cancer is cutting across the puberty right up to till the person hits the menopausal stage where the hormones are no longer working. But usually before now it was 40 and above, but now it's cutting across. And the symptoms don't really specify because the person is younger. It's special. It's the same thing across. Yes.
So would you say is it a factor of, or let me say, the lifestyle we're living now? Because now in our day, as you mentioned, from 15 people menstruating and all that are getting, would you say there's any result to our lifestyle or change of environment causing all these things?
So funny thing my mother says of late is that things that people do after 30, we in this dispensation, we do it even at age 10. So we are exposed to things that people used to suffer at older times than we are suffering them at a young age. So a lot of people are experimenting alcohol more in our dispensation, regardless the age. People are experimenting drugs. Our young ones they're having indiscriminate sex, and then they are testing all the emergency contraceptives, they are testing all the hormonal drugs, they are taking in a lot of things. And then instead of living healthy at our age, we are eating all the foods at any point in time in our lives of the day. So as late as 10 p.m., you get somebody ordering a whole chicken and bosses with it and a bottle of alcohol. You get it? Yeah. So if the person already has the genetic predisposition of the condition, and then you're adding all these things to it, then you're increasing your risk of getting it. That's how come the younger ones are suffering it, the older ones are suffering it.
And then there is also HER2 positive breast cancer as well. Can you educate us on that?
So the HER2 deals with the protein carrying system in your breast. So you see, these things are more of scientific. So going in will confuse our viewers more a lot. So I actually really wanted to target the most common ones. So HER2 deals with the estrogen and the progesterone in there. Now science has it, some studies have it that these two hormones have a way of increasing the cancer cells in you, have a way of activating it, getting it to grow faster. So the HER2 positive, if you go to the lab and then they take those tests and they tell you that, guy, so you have this and the protein in there can cause it to grow faster, then you have it. Or the fact is that it has been seen that your estrogen or progesterone can boost, or your protein carrying can boost the cancer cells to grow more. Then it's one of those kind that is rare, but it happens and it's faster. Yes.
Okay. All right, quite an interesting conversation we're having. So we've spoken about the age range and all that. Now let's talk about family history. Sometimes too people touch on this thing. Oh, okay, my grandma had it, my mom, and all that. Is it still the hereditary stuff? Is it still the same case happening, or now things are really turning around?
Oh, it's the same. But there are people who have not suffered, they don't have a family history.
Okay.
But still suffer breast cancer. But the family history is a note, it's a pointer to you that if you've had a family member, your mother, your cousin, from either side or wherever suffering it, then it means that you have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure that all the other risk factors won't come in to add up to your existing risk factor to increase your chances of getting the breast cancer. So hereditary is there. So if you've had maybe your mom, your grandmom, your aunt, even your father suffering it, then it means that there's a chance that she can, or you have the genetic whatever that will make you grow. So you would have to take good care of yourself.
Would you say breast cancer is more of lifestyle or our lifestyle?
Most of the things or the conditions or diseases we are suffering of late will have or has our lifestyle as part of it. Our lifestyle actually boosts it to a level, and then other things add up to it. Our system actually adds up to it. Like we're saying about the HER2 positive, it's the lifestyle comes in, and then other things add to it. You get it? Hypertension, lifestyle adds to it, and then other things pumps it up. So with breast cancer, we spoke about keeping a healthy diet. So obese people are at a risk of getting it. Alcoholics have a high risk of developing breast cancer. People eating everything or taking in everything that is not good for their health also increases their risk of developing the cancer.
And also earlier you mentioned that it's expensive, and we are not having the government or even NGOs come on board sometimes to actually support. Have you ever had a case or a situation where a client couldn't afford treatment, and what happened?
Several cases. It happens that just when you have started, we need medications, we need to go to the lab, we need to do this, and then the person doesn't have it from the word go. So usually we try to get the person to solicit for funds, or we do a few GoFundMes on social media, that if we can get people to assist. At times we get people assisting, and there are times you get the assistance and the people want to opt out of the care. They feel the money is too much for that kind of care, so they opt out of the whole care. So you are left hanging in there. And some people also return and tell you that my pastor says that I should let it go. I should come home, and then we pray, and then the healing will happen. So when it happens like that, it keeps you hanging in there. But it's expensive, and then people are getting support. Some people are not getting it at all.
Quite interesting. So I'm just wondering, JK, you do go fund me, nobody's supporting. You solicit for fund, nobody's like, so people die as a result of no money for treatment. Like we don't have any ways or means whereby, let's say, they'll say because we know and we've clarified or pay investigations that maybe you don't have the amount of money needed for the surgery or the procedure, so the government or even the hospital decides to just support you. No, it's not possible. No. So government comes in the very moment. Probably we make noise about it. We've seen government coming in once or twice for a few people, but the NGOs are also stepping in once or twice in a while. Hospitals don't have that fund. If the hospital is privately owned, I doubt the owner cannot sponsor 2, 3, 4 people at a go, can sponsor one person at a go. So since we are on a platform that is going wide, I am here as an advocate for breast cancer. Anybody who has the resources, because there are people who are barely surviving breast cancer. So if there are people in there, NGOs in there, who are ready to support, who are ready to join hands with VELVE Connect to support breast cancer victims, we are open. There are a lot of people out there who need help. People have sold their properties because of, they've sold their cocoa farms, they've sold their houses, they sold a lot of things just so they get treated and they live.
Very sad.
Anyway, this is why we are getting ourselves educated, right? And this is why you need to pay attention to your body and yourself as a matter of fact. So this is where we'll end today's segment or part of our breast cancer awareness program. right? So what will be your final submission for us before you leave?
Like I said last week, we all have to know our breast and know it for ourselves, and then get screened. Know your breast, get screened, visit the nearest facility if you have any doubts. And to every NGO out there, anyone who is ready to help, VELVE Connect is opened to do the education, to do the screenings. And then if there is anyone found out and there are supports to all the CSOs out there, we plead that you can come out and then help us support our women, our young women, our men who are breast cancer victims. Let's fight a worthy cause. And then if there is anyone who has any events upcoming and we need a health support, your VELVE connectors here, and then your wellness guide is here. I'm here to support at any point in time.
Socials as well?
My socials, VELVE Connect on Facebook, VELVE Connect on IG, VELVE Connect on YouTube. Yes.
All right, great. Thank you so much for having you on our wellbeing segment. And yes, next week again we're going to have you